Nile. That's all that needs to be said. When I first got into Nile, I was about 17 years old. At the time, I would watch a lot of Count Blagroth and Killbot and Gorgor Attack. Specifically, I watched Killbot and Gorgor Attack's video on Nile and their discography up to that point. When I watched Count Blagroth, I saw CD collection videos. There are 3 albums that he owned, and I own all of them. We both share the same favorite album, Epiphallic. Me and Tony, Killbot, also have a similar favorite, the same favorite album, but mine is more of a second favorite. That being For Those Whom the Gods Detest. See, my first Nile album I ever heard was Annihilation of the Wicked. I heard Latch to the Slave Stick and thought, man, those are really good hooks. The first album I ever bought was At the Gate of Sethu. I feel like it's an underrated album at times, other times I can't stand it. Either way, there are good songs on here, and it does have good musicianship. It just had poor execution, poor songwriting ideas, and horrible production. What Should Not Be on Earth was somewhat a step up from that. I remember my friend Lonnie over at Class A Lonnie Metal putting this in his, what are they called? Honorable mentions of his favorite albums of that year. It made me want to revisit it. 2019's Vow Neurotic Rights, or however it's said, was a good album overall, but it didn't really make me go, wow. Now, those albums I've just talked about have all been incredible. Going back to Epiphallic, this has some of the catchiest songs, in my opinion, and could rival In Their Darkened Shrines, which is their lengthiest, but also, what I say, the godliest. As He Creates, So He Destroys is one of my favorite Nile songs. So when I heard that they were releasing a new album in 2024, I was very excited. I was hoping that it would be like Vile mixed with the songwriting of In Their Darkened Shrines, the catchiness of Epiphallic, the memorable parts of Annihilation of the Wicked, and overall the great production of all the albums that were At the Gate of Sethu. So it came out. I did a review on Instagram on my main account about it, and I gave it a 10 out of 10 grades. I still stand by that. Everything I said in that review could be said here, but I don't remember all of that. And also, I want my video to be a bit more special. First up, there's the beautiful artwork. See, when I look at a Nile album, I expect something like Epiphallic, where it's simple, mysterious, but also has something to do with their music. when I saw the artwork for, right for this, chapter for not being hung upside down on a stake in the underworld and made to eat feces by the four apes. What a mouthful. That was one of the singles. In fact, I think that was the first single. When I heard it, I was immediately hooked. I immediately heard the catchiness that I knew Nile for, and the memorabilia, and the godlike musicianship, and those drums, of course, were always just pounding, and they were up there. See, I like listening to music on Spotify with headphones. I can hear everything clear, and if it's a single, I don't have a CD of a single, so I have no choice. So, of course, I got really excited, and I had Now going all day. The riffs remind me of a song called Uno Slayer of the Gods on In Their Darkened Shrines. Not as lengthy of a song, but it definitely reminded me of how they're able to make the song work even with different riffs that sound like multiple songs in one. The artwork makes me feel like the apocalypse is coming. As a matter of fact, I believe the apocalypse did come with this album. As I got home today, I saw the package on the counter, and I was like, Then you open it up. There it is. Your booklet, the CD, and some more art. I opened this, and I felt the world around me just kind of fade away. Nile has taken over. They've taken over my phone. They've taken over my CD collection. Not many tech death bands can keep me hooked with so many different albums. For example, Amongst the Catacombs of Neferenkaw. Not exactly the most talked about Nile album, but definitely is one of the more underrated ones, and what I think is a good short length, even for Nile standards. Feels more like an EP, but it's a lengthy EP, and it makes you feel like you just want to crack some skulls in God of War. So, how did this new album make me feel? Having watched people play Shadow of the Colossus, it made me feel like I was in that game. It made me feel godlike. Sure, it's a bit lengthy, clocking in at almost an hour, but am I gonna complain? No. Almost every other Nile album has been almost an hour or over an hour. I continuously go back to their old stuff as I'm more familiar with it. This album, however, I've listened to since it has been released. As soon as it was released, I ordered my copy. Usually, I hate order from Amazon, but it said we'd be here by Tuesday, and here it is, Sunday, and I already have it in my hands. Bandcamp, sure, I can get cool stuff, I can get stickers, I can get a koozie, and it goes more directly to the band, but I need this ASAP. This is an album I absolutely could not miss out reviewing. For starters, the album does not hold back any punches and gets right to the point at the beginning of, is it a Stage of Vultures? I can't really remember the title of the song, and I can't fucking read, but who can, right? No. Regardless, the first track makes me feel like I'm listening to the soundtrack of a video game. Nile is the soundtrack. This isn't just a band like Aborted where you can listen to songs and get a feel for the album. This is a band that you listen to the entire album front to back and you absolutely worship it. This song, Under the Curse of the God, sorry, Under the Curse of the One God, makes you feel like you're wondering if maybe something's gone awry. See, it feels more like you're listening to a film. I like Nile in that way. They're good at their storytelling, and no one's bored listening to it. If you are, then you're probably not going to like a lot of tech death bands. I'm not a huge tech death person myself, but this is one band that always gets me entertained. I hear bits of Atheist in this as well. Having seen Atheist live, I know exactly what they sound like. Very jazzy, but this is like jazz mixed into the Egyptian instrumentals along with the tech death parts. There's a bit of a proggy element in this album. I'm not complaining. I like it. Almost every song is single worthy, and this could become my favorite album by Nile, almost maybe even dethroning my other two favorites. Yeah, I know. The production didn't overwhelm me or underwhelm me. It didn't make me want to need Advil or ibuprofen after, like at the Gate of Sethu did. This is Nile saying that they are back. They had nothing else to prove. In 2019, they could have left off on that note. But no. Nile has returned. They have washed us with the waters of the river that they are named after. The music is the water. For good ranking, I definitely still give this a 10 out of 10. Sure, it's not completely clicked with me yet, but this definitely has Album of the Year written all over it. I feel like if I'm in the mood for death metal, this is the album I'm gonna go for in the future. Thank you.